Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about my actual, like, kind of leading up to the awakening and then the actual awakening or shift in consciousness. Um, so, here it is sitting up right there. So yeah, basically at the beginning of 2019 is when I started asking for signs from the universe. Every night before I went to bed, I was just like, please give me a sign or please put me on the right track. Like I was faithfully doing that like every night. That's something I've been struggling with lately is showing gratitude every day. I want to get like a gratitude jar, and I feel like I'm always communicating with the universe now, but it's not like I was actually speaking it like out loud, I guess, like I was back in 2019. I'm not really doing that anymore, and I really want to get back into doing that. But so I started asking for signs, and so I got a sign as far as like Amazon FBA, but it really didn't make sense. Like I was trying to figure out the whole concept and really research, but it didn't make sense. And I tried to give it a good look through, but it just didn't work out. And so then one of my favorite things to do is to watch YouTube. So Spirit, get used to that word on this channel. So Spirit showed me a YouTube video, and I wish I could go. I'm sure if I really wanted to spend forever going back through my history, I could. But Spirit showed me a video of this lady doing what I'm preparing to do, basically, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But I was in a negative mindset, whatever, at that point. So I was like, that's cool, but I can't do that, and just wrote it off and moved right along. And I would say the reason why I felt that was because, honestly, like it's a part of human nature to judge. And I don't say that I judged her, but I just felt like I couldn't relate to her. She seemed as like she already had everything together. She only had one child. It just looked like her life was good, and I just didn't really resonate with that. She was too far in her journey, I guess, for me to really relate to her. Okay, and so with me asking for signs every night, Spirit showed me another woman, and I was able to more so relate to her. She was a single mother. She didn't really look like she had her like everything together yet, like she was doing good for herself, but it looked like she was still on the come up, like, so I could still relate to her, because I have 3 kids, I work full time. It's like I don't really have a lot of time. It depends on how you look at it. Everything is about your mindset. But like I said, I could just more relate to her. So with her, I was just like, okay, I'll take this a little bit more serious. I started taking notes and really started to consider it. Okay. And then so the next lady that I found, I wouldn't say that I could relate to her, but she was more so of like a mentor, and she really just helps really encourage me. And her big thing was like, it doesn't matter how many people are doing what you want to do. If it's meant for you, you'll be successful at it. Put yourself out there, believe in yourself, be positive. And that really just encouraged me. And that's when I really got like serious and was like, okay, I can really do this. Like, I'm gonna do this. I started taking notes heavily. I like watched any video that she had that I felt like related to what I needed to know about. As far as being an entrepreneur, I was taking notes on, seriously. And I even, I had like a notebook full of notes, and I even, at this point have organized my notes so that I can, easily find, what I need to, if I'm looking for a certain, specific information, I can easily go to, the specific category that I'm looking for. So, yeah. And then what really initiated the like shift in consciousness, I feel like, was this 4th lady. And so, and all these women were entrepreneurs. I don't really want to speak about like the exact thing I'm doing yet, but I do want to share my experience as far as what led to the awakening, So the 4th lady, she had a video, and it basically was discussing how she made $100,000 after leaving her 9-to-5. And I was just really intrigued by the title. Like, I was curious about what her 9-to-5 was, because looks can be deceiving, and again, we judge. And so she just looked like a corporate person to me. Like, I saw her as having like a corporate job, but her job was basically doing what I'm doing now, which is, you know, a general manager at a fast food restaurant. I wouldn't say I work in fast food, but I do deal with, you know, a food product. And when she said that, like, I just got chills. Like, I paused the video and I like literally like looked to my side, and I was just like, and I get emotional like whenever I like think about this story, because it really is like when things like started to change for me. I like look to the side and I'm just kind of like, what's going on here? At that point in time, like, I'm trying to make like not cry. Like, every time I think about this, like, I really do get emotional. But I was like, what's going on here? Like, who's talking to me? Because that's what it felt like. And I don't know why it's worse. Like, when, you know, when I'm thinking about it, I don't cry, but like I'm on camera and like I'm about to cry. Like, but yeah, I was like, who's talking to me? Like, because that's what it felt like. And that's how the universe works. Like, you don't have anybody that's going to come down to you and be like, you need to do this. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like, the universe gives you signs because you have free will. You have to choose to, like, I would say, like, you have to choose to tune in. But you just have, like I said, you have to follow the trail. And if you keep following that trail, you'll eventually have your moment where you will realize that the universe is here for you, or whoever you believe in, God, whatever. So yeah, I just felt like somebody was speaking to me. And then from that point on, pretty much, and this was like, I want to say this happened in July, but it was like July, right into crossing over into August. Like, I can't remember the exact date, but while after that moment, I started to realize the conversations in my head. Like, I don't say weird, but I'm one of those people that I've always like talked to myself, and I started to realize, I guess, my subconscious talking to my ego. So whenever my ego would have a negative thought, or whenever I would have a negative thought, my subconscious would automatically start counteracting back with a positive thought. Like, whenever I was like, you can't do this, my subconscious responded like, yes, you can. Or just when I would just be thinking about if I should do this, it was just like, you can. Like, it's hard to describe, but I just heard it in my mind, like, you can do this, you can. Like, as if somebody's talking to you, basically, but it's you. That's a whole nother topic about somebody else speaking to you. But yeah, I just heard, you can do it, you can. Like, whenever I would have a negative thought, it would just automatically be counteracted with a positive. Okay. And then, yeah, from that point on, I was just more positive. I was, you know, walking with my head up. I wasn't trying to look down to avoid making eye contact with people anymore. And I also just started to experience like this, I guess, I don't want to call it a kundalini. I'm not sure if that's what it was yet, but I really did just start feeling anxious. And I really just feel like, or I think now that anxiousness was just pent up energy. And I guess it could be kundalini. I don't know yet. I haven't really done my research on that, but I just started feeling anxious. For what I felt was like no reason. Didn't know what was going on, but anxious. I couldn't eat anything. And then sometimes, you know, you can't find information because you're not ready to receive it. But I forget what I researched, but I ended up looking, I guess I typed in symptoms or whatever, and I realized, or the results were an ego death or spiritual awakening. And I read you know, what was going on, and I was like, oh, excuse me. I was like, oh, okay. This makes sense. And yeah, but when I think really deep down about it, my whole life built me up for that moment, if that makes sense. So I guess to give an example, me working at my current job really did build me up to become more confident and to get comfortable with speaking with people. Because in the beginning, it was just, you know, I needed a job when I was 18. And, you know, I started from the bottom and pretty much worked my way up to the top. and having to deal with customers, and then, you know, becoming, you know, shift leader, assistant manager, you have to deal with upset customers, you get more responsibilities. And yeah, it just makes you reflect, and it just, looking back on my life, the whole experience has just set me up for that shift in consciousness, and to lead me and onto my, you know, path of being an entrepreneur. And then I feel like I'm destined to be a motivational speaker, mentor, counselor. You get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I didn't explain the whole job thing the way I wanted to. So like, speaking to people really did used to bother me, as far as like, I don't know, I always resonated with children. I liked children, or I liked older people. I didn't really like, I don't want to say I don't like, but dealing with like middle-aged people just made me uncomfortable. Like, you know, so it was just a struggle for me. But working there for as long as I did, and then, you know, being able to move up and then experiencing this shift in consciousness, I was clearly able to see the difference after my shift in consciousness. Like, so when I was dealing with customers, I just realized it didn't bother me, you know, bringing people up. Like, I was no longer uncomfortable. I feel like it's like I want to expand on it, but I don't know how to speak about it. I just was able to notice all the changes within me, I guess you could say. So where before I, you know, was uncomfortable with dealing with people, my whole life built me up to slowly, you know, gradually getting to a place to where it no longer bothers me, if that makes sense. I guess that's what I wanted to say. Because I did work there, or I'm, you know, I feel like I'm coming up on the end of it, but I've worked there for 10 years, and it's just like, it was a slow build up to get me to where I needed to be, you know. And now that I know where I need to go and where I'm supposed to be, I'm free to leave it behind, if that makes sense. And I love my job. Why am I getting off on a tangent? I love my job. Like I said, everything happens for a reason, and I realized everything that I was supposed to learn from this particular experience, and I'm gonna take it with me, and I will forever be grateful for it. But yeah, so I just went off on a tangent, but that's pretty much what led to my awakening. And I just started asking for signs, and I followed the trail pretty much. And one day I, you know, was watching a YouTube video about, you know, my chosen product, and I really resonated with the lady, and obviously I was meant to watch that video, but that video initiated a shift in my consciousness, my awareness, and pretty much now I know where I need to go in life. So I hope that makes sense. That's not how I wanted this video to go, but I did really want to share my experience. So thank you guys so much for watching. Any requests or comments or questions, leave those down below, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.